Hey, we haven't spoken for a few days, have we? For those of you new to my content, sometimes I speak softly, sometimes I whisper, but I actually have a fairly strong voice. I whisper because some people find it relaxing. I'm one of those people. I really like whispering. And sometimes I speak softly because people like that as well. It is Monday evening in Australia, and I've been through a basketball tournament which went for 4 days and had quite a lot of preparation, and it finished on Saturday. So I haven't been able to create content during the tournament. There is so much to organising a basketball tournament for young boys. And young boys are in between the ages of childhood and being teenagers. And at that beautiful age, they're ready to take on the world with resilience and courage, and ready to cry the moment life doesn't go well. So we've had tears and courage and resilience and emotion and injuries. So I spent 4 days, 3-4 days with the basketball tournament, and then I went out with my friend Anita. And when I went out, I was totally exhausted, totally exhausted. So I probably should have gone to bed, but I chose to go out. And we met a lot of people, and we had a lot of fun in Brunswick, because I love Brunswick. And I really enjoy my friendship with my friend Anita. I have been training with Tom, and thank you for asking everybody. The training is going really well because it keeps me accountable, and even though I'm big on, I enjoy lifting weights. I love lifting weights. I love it. I find that I always place my children first. So by seeing Tom, I tend to force time for myself, and that keeps me accountable, and it means that I'm a better mother, a better friend, and a better me. And Tom is a really good trainer, so it's going really well. How are you all sleeping? Are you sleeping well? I get a lot of letters from you about your sleep and how you struggle to sleep. And one of the biggest proponents of lack of sleep is allowing thoughts to continue in our mind. We actually are the thinkers, so we think the thoughts, and although we may not be aware, it's our choice to think the thoughts. We choose to think the thoughts, and then we choose to rethink the thoughts, and then we choose to rethink and rethink and rethink the thoughts. And it's a vicious cycle. When I do a tournament, and I've done I think 3 that I've organised, the basketball tournaments, there is so much to organise, and I've found that it's not possible to get it right. Whatever I do, I make mistakes, whether it's knowing the court number and I recheck everything, and then I worry about it, and I go over it in my head, and I keep lists. Preparing a basketball tournament is kind of like preparing a life. There's always something that's not quite finished. We can only do our best in life, in relationships, in love. When we go to bed, it's the time to put thoughts away. We can choose where to point our thoughts. I often have a metaphorical box, and before I go to sleep, strong noise, I put my thoughts into the box, and then I shut the box. And I say to myself that my thoughts are away for that day. It often helps to think about putting your thoughts away. So you imagine the box, or the box is real, and you imagine yourself putting one thought, and then another thought, another thought, and another thought into the box. The reason I'm such a big believer in stopping thought at night is that I overthink. When I say overthink, I mean thinking more than what is beneficial for living. We have a brain to think through survival through each day. If we go further than that, then it's no longer productive. So before we go to bed, we put our thoughts away. And you can get an imaginary box, or a real box, and put them away. I think putting thoughts away is a practice, as in you need to practice it. And sometimes I'm really good at it, and sometimes I'm not so good. With the tournaments, I feel like I'm responsible for everyone's happiness, and because it's children involved, for some reason I worry more about children than adults. So I worry so much that they'll have a great tournament. I really want them to enjoy it. It's so important to them, and I just worry about it. So the tournament was over the weekend, and then after the tournament I went out, and I was so tired after that. So tonight we're just starting to get quiet, so I'm hoping to create some content. You also have to be in the mood to record content. I have to feel inspired. One of you asked, what inspires me? It's almost never one story that inspires me, so it's not something from my life. I like to be inspired by 2 or more stories, so it might be a comment from you. It might be a couple of things that have happened to me. And that way I feel like I'm responding to more of you. At the moment, I think the theme in the air is one people, that we're one people, all of us together, you, me, everybody. And it's important that we don't exclude anybody at all. Sometimes in basketball, the team may go through stages of excluding a player. Not so much with our team, but I've seen it. And perhaps several of the boys go to one school, or they play together, or they play PlayStation together, or something like that. And perhaps one of the boys doesn't hang out with the others as much. So when it comes to playing time on the court, no one passes to that boy, and that boy is excluded merely because he's different. Just because he doesn't play PlayStation online. There's noises. I'm going to keep recording. Someone somebody's up. Just because he doesn't play PlayStation Online, or just because he doesn't play football with the rest, or go to as many parties, or go to the same school, doesn't mean that he should be excluded on the court. But sometimes that happens. Someone is excluded just because they're different. Just because one of the players is different is no reason not to pass him the ball. There's no reason to exclude him from the team. I hope that all of you are feeling loved at the moment. I hope that you've all had a great weekend. I hope that you're sleeping. I hope that you're eating well. In a few minutes I'm going to record a meditation, and that will go up as well. I'm very grateful to you listening to my content. I'm very grateful that you take the time to subscribe and listen to me. I love hearing from you. I know that several of you are experiencing relationship breakups at the moment, and I know that pain is somewhat unbearable. I don't think there's anything you can say to people who experience relationship breakups that make it okay. Time does heal, but when you're in the midst of the pain, it's not the time to hear that. So, to you who are experiencing relationship breakups, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Really sorry.